to be here. Now, you guys get this weather all the time, right? Up here. This is great. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be here for Ovide. Listen, I know what good, strong, conservative, Republican governance can do. And what it can do here for New Hampshire is even greater than what it's done in New Jersey. See, New Jersey, we already did the Maggie Hassan experiment. You already tried it, everybody. So let me give you a preview of what it looks like, because it's not pretty. Right, for the 8 years before I became governor, we raised taxes and fees on the people of New Jersey 115 times. In 8 years. Just so you understand the scope of that, that's a tax or fee increase every 25 days for 8 years. Every 25 days, government went into our citizens' pockets and took money out for the next harebrained scheme coming out of Trenton by some politician who thought they knew better. Thought they knew better how to spend your money than you do. What happened in New Jersey because of that? Well, take the number of jobs in the private sector we had on January 1st, 2000, compare it to the number of jobs we had in the private sector on December 31st, 2009. We had less jobs in 2009 than we had in 2000. We literally had a jobless decade in New Jersey because of the taxes and the regulation and the debt that we piled up. Our spending went up an average of 16% a year. 16% a year during those periods of time. I mean, this is the crazed liberal experiment brought to life. Now, you don't want that, and anybody like Maggie who's running against Ovide here, who starts like whispering about income tax, you know what that means. See, because the politicians who whisper about income tax, they've already made up their mind. And here's what you got to remember about New Jersey. 35 years ago, we didn't have an income tax in New Jersey. No income tax. Like right here in New Hampshire, we had no income tax. And Governor Brendan Byrne, a Democrat, said, if you just give me a small income tax, just a little one, I will lower your property taxes. For the people who had the highest property taxes in America back in 1977. So 35 years later, what do we got? We still have the highest property taxes in America. And the income tax that started at 2% under Governor Byrne is now 9%.
Wow.
9%.
Wow.
Here's the key, everybody. You let a liberal politician in the door and give them permission to give you a new tax. They only know one direction for that tax to go, and that's up. So, here's the challenge. The challenge for the next 43 days is that we have to make sure everybody in New Hampshire hears that message. His message is a clear, smart, concise one, and it's this. He wants to empower you. He wants the winners and losers to be decided in New Hampshire on a very simple formula. Your ingenuity, your integrity, and your work ethic. That's what you decide winners and losers in New Hampshire. Not the government. And you don't have to take my word for it, because Ovide's had a career. An entire career, both in the private sector and in public life, that gives you the evidence that that's exactly who he is and what he stands for. And I'm just here to let you know what will happen if you go in the other direction. New Jersey is the example of what will happen. And as we try to dig out of that hole now, it's hard work, everybody. You don't want to get there. A 9% income tax, a 7% sales tax on top of it. You don't want to go there. It is a very difficult place to get out from under. And so New Hampshire has a great foundation here, built by the great people of this state. And they don't need someone who's going to come in and tell them that government is the solution to their problem. It just isn't. And that's the Democratic philosophy. And if you don't believe me that that's the Democratic philosophy, let me remind you of something. A couple weeks ago, the Democrats had their national convention in Charlotte, and as a sacrifice for my nation, I watched it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, but I felt I owed it to my country. 3 nights, I sat on my couch and turned that thing on. And I had my son Patrick, who's 12, had to bring me a big bottle of water because I had to remain hydrated. say the truth. When I hear that much garbage, I kind of get lightheaded. So I need to stay hydrated so I can stay awake and hear all of it. I heard a lot of garbage coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, but let me tell you the worst thing I heard. And this is the difference between Republican governance and Democratic governance. This is the difference between a New Hampshire with Ovide as the governor and Maggie as the governor. Here's what it is. Right before President Obama's speech on Thursday night, the Democratic National Convention said this: government is the only thing we all belong to.
No way.
Now, I want you to really take a minute and think about that. See, because when you first hear it, it sounds kind of nice. We all belong to something. Isn't that great? We all belong to something. Isn't that nice? It'll warm your heart. Let's say it one more time because I want you to really listen to it. Government is the only thing we all belong to. Now, I don't know about all of you in New Hampshire. I suspect I know the answer. But my life hasn't been about that. And I don't think it's what most Americans' lives have been about. I think this: we don't belong to government. Government belongs to us. The gentleman up here with the Boston Bruins hat, and in his pocket, he has the Constitution. And you know, if we open that up and we read the first line, it doesn't say we the government, does it? No, it doesn't. It says we the people. We the people give certain authority and power to the government, not the other way around. And that's the difference between Republican governance and Democratic governance at its core. We as Republicans believe that we need to empower you, that we need to get government out of your way, that we need to just do the minimum we need to do to take care of those who can't take care of themselves, to give those folks a hand up when they've gotten into some difficult times, but then to just give them the opportunity for greatness. We don't guarantee anybody in America anything other than opportunity for greatness.
Amen.
That's what we guarantee. The Democrats, both Maggie here in New Hampshire and the President of the United States, what they want is for government to make your decisions for you. They want to pick the winners and losers. They want to have America in their image. They want you to belong to the government. They want you and your lives to belong to them.
No way.
Now, there is no way we can permit that to happen, first and foremost in New Hampshire.
They're already doing it.
Any state that's motto is live free or die. I don't know how you people ever elected Democrats. With that motto, I was ever elected Democrat. I don't understand it. But I'm not going to question that today.
We don't either.
We don't have to worry about that today. Oh, the Massachusetts transplant. Right? It's going to make sense to me. A little bit more sense, but it doesn't matter now because the people in New Hampshire have seen. They have seen in New Jersey what can happen when you let liberal government run amok, and even worse, they've seen what's happened in Washington, D.C. when you let liberal government run amok. And I'll tell you something. Here's something you'll never hear Ovide say. You never hear Ovide say, you can't change Concord from the inside. You never hear him say it. See, because what Ovide believes is if you elect him governor, he's going into Concord to change it from the inside. To make the stupidest statement I've ever heard a president make in my life. And yet, if you watch the cable news stations, you don't hear anything about it, right? This guy says, you can't change Washington from the inside. Well, first of all, I want to help the president. And he says the president's coming to New Hampshire, I'm sure he's coming back, right? And you can see this tape. I want to speak directly to the president. Mr. President, you live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. You are Mr. Inside. And if you can't change Washington from inside the White House, then get out of town. here's the way to send that message and to make it happen. New Hampshire is a state of consequence. You all are going to play a key role, maybe the key role, in determining the next president of the United States. You did it in 2000. When New Hampshire was won by George W. Bush in 2000, you were the difference. Your electoral votes were the difference between George W. Bush being president and Al Gore being president. That's consequence. That's consequence. And today, in the same way, 43 days from now, you're a state of consequence in two ways. First, we gotta elect Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan to save our country. And right now we're at 29 Republican governors in America. 29 of the 50 governors in America are Republican. And you've heard of these Republican governors because of what we're doing. You've heard of people like Scott Walker in Wisconsin, John Kasich in Ohio, Suzanne Martinez in New Mexico, in South Carolina, Tom Corbett in Pennsylvania, people who are changing our country. Guess what? I want to be standing next to the 30th Republican governor in America. Let's make Ovide the 30th. Now, listen, I want to be clear because I love the fact that Ovide's given me the title as America's Truth Teller. I love that, so I got to tell you all the truth. I'm in a great mood today. I love coming to New Hampshire. I was in Utah over the weekend and Missouri. So coming to New Hampshire, it feels like I walked here. So, I'm in a great mood. I didn't have a lot of time on an airplane. I landed in a beautiful state. The leaves are starting to turn. Just a little. The weather is gorgeous. The people are warm and welcoming, and I'm in a great mood. And we've got a great candidate to stand next to today to talk about the future of New Hampshire. But I want to warn you folks of something. Showing up at this rally today is great, and I appreciate it. And I know Ovide appreciates it too. We appreciate your enthusiasm and your support. But if you think that this ends it for you, then you are sadly mistaken, okay? 43 days to go, 6 weeks. 6 weeks to go, right? Now, here's what we need to do. What we need to do is I want you all to go home after you leave this rally and look at your calendars for the next 6 weeks. And I want you to figure out how many hours each one of these 6 weeks you're willing to devote to making New Hampshire a great state again. Yes. How many hours are you willing to devote to make sure that this man gets elected? Because you are going to make the difference. You're going to make the difference if you're willing to put a couple hours aside. Let's just say 2 hours. Every week for the next 6 weeks, that's 12 hours of phone calls you can make. 12 hours of door-to-door you can do. 12 hours of just sitting in your own home, going through your phone book, calling your friends and your relatives, your neighbors, your coworkers, your customers, your clients, the people you see at the football games on Friday night, the people you see on the soccer fields on Saturday, the people you see in the parking lot of church on Sunday, the folks that you see in the supermarket checkout line. Nobody should be immune from seeing those Ovide buttons. No one should doubt where you are. See, you can be the difference maker by opening your mouth and telling them, I met him. I've looked him in the eye. I've taken the measure of his character, and I'm with him. And I need you to be with him too. You see, because the most powerful thing in American politics today, more powerful than a 30-second ad, more powerful than a piece of mail in the mailbox, believe it or not, even more powerful than a warm and charming automated phone call from the governor of New Jersey. Even more powerful than that. Even more powerful than that is you talking to a friend who's not sure who to vote for and telling them, don't worry, trust me. I've met this person. You can trust him. See, over the next 6 weeks, I'm imploring you, that's what you need to do. Now, I've told Ovide I'm going to come back in October to make sure that we're doing this. Now, when I come back, I want you all to be ready now, because I'm going to check with Ovide to see if the people here, and we know who you are, the people here have been given at least 2 hours a week between now and when I come back. Because if you are not, I need to tell you something. I'm going to be in a much worse mood. for some of you who have seen some of my town hall interactions with some of my more difficult constituents, you know that sometimes that can be less than pleasant. Don't make me come back to New Hampshire in a bad mood. I want to come back to New Hampshire and have Ovide say to me, you won't believe it, these people are killing it. They're knocking it out of the park. Our phone calls are way up. Our door knocks are way up. We've got people who are rushing into campaign headquarters across New Hampshire because they want to make a difference for New Hampshire. They want to make the state a place that their children and grandchildren will want to live in and can afford to live in. So that, remember this image as I leave. Everybody feels the same way about this, no matter what state you live in. This is about, will our children be able to raise their children here where we grew up, right? And so in New Hampshire, for all of you who love this state and help to build it, what's going to happen? If we don't make the change that needs to happen, if we elect Ovide governor and go in that course, then for all those Little League games and soccer tournaments, for all those Christmas concerts and spring plays, and for all those little birthday parties around the kitchen table, that as grandparents, you get to go to now because your children are raising their children right here in New Hampshire. If this is no longer a place where they can get a good paying job, this is no longer a place where they can afford to buy a home, if this is no longer a place where there's a great education to help to take their children to the next height, they're going to leave. They're going to leave to go where that's available. And then you're going to become airplane grandparents. And you won't make those Little League games, not all of them, or those soccer tournaments, those Christmas concerts, those spring plays, and worse yet, you won't make those little birthday parties around the kitchen table, which is where the fabric of our life is woven.
Right, right.
So, you think about whether you can spare 2 hours a week for the next 6 weeks. Think about that. Because that investment in time you're making now will make a difference in whether New Hampshire is the same New Hampshire you grew up in and an even greater one for your grandchildren, or whether it isn't. So I'm thrilled to be here today because I know when I advocate for that I'm standing next to a man who understands it, whose life has been about it, and who wants it as badly for your family as you want it yourself.
Yes.
Give him a chance to sit in the governor's chair, and I'll guarantee you one thing. Every day he is there, he will make you proud to have voted for him. Thank you all very much.